of you watching right now, you're about to hear from Leah Jensen. She is a graduate recruiter at Bank of Ireland, and Leah is going to talk you through, the graduate program at Bank of Ireland, so you have a full understanding of what's involved should you want to apply for any of the roles that are currently open. As with all the sessions today, please do ask as many questions as you would like via the chat box below, and upvote any questions you want to see answered the most. So that's enough for me, and Leah, I will now hand over to you.
Thank you for that warm introduction, Piers. Really appreciate it. Hello and welcome to you all. So many thanks for taking the time. I know it's a very busy day, full diaries, but my name is Leah Jensen. I'm the graduate recruiter here at Bank of Ireland. We have a long history working with Grad Ireland, so we're delighted to be here again today. So today we'll talk through just at a high level. We'll go through the program, background, structure, experience for our grads, as well as what to expect during the application process. So lucky also to share some helpful tips and tricks that we've learned along the way, and happy to pass that along to you as well. So it's safe to say that Bank of Ireland as an institution is fairly established at this point, right? We've been in business since 1783. We've been running this program actually since 1991. So we now have 30 years of graduates from a wide range of programs, and many of which still work in our bank today. So we're excited to have brought 800 graduates over our program to date. And over the years, we have had as many as 10 program categories. That includes everything from traditional banking disciplines like audit, risk, retail, to our newer streams, such as IT and data, which we'll talk about a bit later. So if we look specifically at our 2021 intake, it is a fairly even split between male and female, you'll see there on the slide, but our goal is to attract colleagues who are representative of the society in which we live, as well as to create the type of environment where all colleagues can thrive. So as you can see, we have received some external recognition for our program over the years, being highlighted as top banking and financial services program over repeated years, as well as being recognized as leaders in diversity recruitment. So we can't talk about our program without first discussing our vision and the promise that we make to each of our graduates. So the words on the screen, they do speak for themselves, but really they just touch on the outskirts of what this means to us at Bank of Ireland. So essentially we know that all the skills and capabilities, the mindsets that we previously recruited into traditional banking programs are not going to drive our future success. We need diversity of thought, diversity of capability, and experience in order to really drive our future success. So how we do business, the expectations of our customers have changed, and how we deliver on that has changed over the years as well, constantly reevaluating and therefore constantly reevaluating this program as well. So while we look to improve our capability through this graduate program, in return, our promise to our graduates are the 4 items that you see here on the slide. So we'll talk just a little bit more throughout the program, but additionally, our grads also join on permanent contracts as opposed to temporary placements that might have been an option in the past. But we really see this as an investment in talent, and obviously our grads are supported with extensive development plans and programs throughout. So what we see here are the 4, we'll call them application categories. So if you went to our website today to make your application, you would actually see 5 applications, the 5th being solely located and dedicated to our UK programs. But the 4 categories here, first with accounting and finance. So in this program, you'll get an understanding of how the financial reporting process works with a large publicly quoted company like ours, in addition to learning the importance of internal control. The next is digital technology and data. As we mentioned earlier, transforming the bank is a key strategic driver for us at Bank of Ireland. And here you'll gain exposure to our technology platforms, data, digital platforms customers use to interact with, as well as to purchase our products. So key skills that we are building in this area include data, project management and agile, development and cloud, robotics and automation, change and transformation, and digital experience design. Next, we have business and commercial, and this is a very wide category. So while this includes business areas involved in the design and the sale of our products, customer service, international markets, it also, our customer facing and revenue generating teams are supported by colleagues in operations and legal, marketing, HR, and many other categories. And the 4th is actuarial. So our actuarial program is delivered through New Ireland Assurance. New Ireland is the first wholly owned life assurance company to transact business here in Ireland, and we're very proud of that. So here you'll be working with one of the largest actuarial departments in the industry, be involved in numerical analysis, gaining a deep understanding of actuarial principles, and building commercial awareness in the life and pensions industry. So regardless of which of these 4 applications you make, from within the application, you will have the opportunity to select your top 2 areas of interest from a pre-populated drop-down menu within the application, and those will tie down to more specific areas of interest for you, with these being such broad categories. So our program offers 3 rotations across a 2-year period, the exception being 3 years for accounting, which you see here on this slide. But throughout each rotation, gain exposure to new areas of the discipline, develop a wide network across different areas of the business, and your responsibilities grow with you and escalate as you progress through the program. So while working at Bank of Ireland offers a variety of benefits, there are specific dedicated resources just at this program, starting with our induction. So our induction has obviously moved online in these new ways of working, but it is designed to provide a space to provide an inspiring, exciting, and warm welcome dedicated to the BOI team. Next, we have our flexible ways of working, provides a hybrid working model, which offers our colleagues greater flexibility in how and where they conduct their work. So this is a combination of work from home, hot desking, as well as office offerings. Development is really at the very heart of this program, where we provide bespoke digital development plans and programs to offer tailored experiential pathways and equip you for the future of work. And we offer ways for you to own your career through our Careers Lab with our Digital Academy as well. Touch points are not only provided by our CEOs, it states here on this tile, but also with the executive committee and leadership teams as part of this program as well. We provide a central mentoring program, which is enabled through our digital platform. And development at Bank of Ireland doesn't stop with the grad program. So this program is specifically designed to be a feeder into our greater Bank of Ireland talent programs, which are designed to accelerate the growth of high-performing individuals. And last but not least, we have our graduate hangout. This is a new initiative that was really inspired by our graduates. It's an online platform where they can stay connected with other graduates from around the Bank of Ireland and to problem solve, idea share, and to develop their network. And if you haven't gathered already, Life at Bank of Ireland offers far more than just the job title. As you can see, our colleagues come together in so many ways for social occasions, community work, or fundraising. Our work in the inclusion and diversity space has received a lot of external recognition, but it truly is colleague driven. Many of us being involved in the day-to-day of one or more of the employee support networks that you see located here. One of our many well-being initiatives is an app that we have that provides access to fitness and nutrition advice, menu planning, and recipes, as well as access to our employee assistance program. So remaining with well-being, there's also a health and well-being Bank of Ireland group on Instagram, where there are thousands of colleagues that share their personal fitness and nutrition journeys. We also have regular events, mostly online these days, unfortunately, where we offer live music and comedy from many well-known artists. Our Begin Together, our colleagues have one day annually to donate to a cause close to them, and we deliver thousands of volunteer hours per year, with many colleagues coming together to share their day with some colleagues and dedicate towards larger projects. Recognition is huge at Bank of Ireland. So we have local divisional award shows that are all colleague nominated, while we also have our group-wide recognition events that include entertainment and recognition from our leadership teams. So we covered a little bit about Bank of Ireland, a little bit about the program, but why don't we talk a little bit more specifically about our application process? So we followed these 5 steps here, most of them being very straightforward, including the first step. So our application is a streamlined 10-minute maximum exercise to complete. This portal is currently open and we are accepting applications. So if you went in today, we would ask you to provide a little bit of background about you, your education, some motivation around why you're looking at our program. And then immediately following, I shouldn't say immediately following, sometime within the next 24 hours, you'd receive a computer-generated email that would invite you to take our online assessment. This can sometimes find its way into junk or spam filters, so we do ask that you take a look at those and be watching out for it because it is automatically generated. But in the online assessment, it's a measure of verbal and numerical reasoning. And once this is completed, it is then reviewed, and successful candidates would then proceed to video interview. So again, receive an email with a link to complete a short, concise. It is pre-recorded, meaning that you would go into the portal, you would see the few questions that are very short, about 1.5 minutes in length, and you would record your answer to those questions within the portal. Coming out of this step would be an invitation to our assessment centers for successful candidates. So assessment centers take place later in November and December. And this obviously would have been conducted face-to-face in the past. This year, it will be virtually and for the foreseeable future. But this involves a group exercise along with individual exercise and really the first live interview with a member of our team, as opposed to recording it in the portal. So as far as helpful tips and tricks, discussed just a few, given the nature of like I mentioned, the computer-generated emails, but along with the other stages of the process, the CV becomes very important as you progress through and past that initial automated progression towards hopefully a successful offer. And so a CV that's concise, applicants, we are anticipating them to be very accomplished, having completed their degree, but we're looking for us to learn something about you. What do you do outside of the classroom? What are your hobbies, personal interests, any experience if you do have it, although it's not required. But what would you really like for us to know about you? The online assessment, very important as well, was with interview, that you find a quiet space free from distractions. And the biggest things here are that you have a full battery and that you have great Wi-Fi internet connection, because unfortunately, if there is any disruption during that process and completion, then it might actually close out your application. So you can contact us if you have any technical issues. There is some help text available, but the best way to prep for both of these stages is to, once again, make sure that you have full battery and that you have great internet connection on the day. And finally, assessment center. Like I said, this is really the first chance that you have to interact back and forth with Bank of Ireland team. So do your research, get to know the company, have a clear motivation for why you feel like this program is right for you, but also just be yourself. We're not looking for anybody to, present themselves as anything but, and we're really looking forward to getting to know you. So with that being said, you can make your application today. As I mentioned, the portal is currently open. You can make your application anytime before October 31st, which is when that window will close. If you visit us on boigraduate.com, you can not only apply here, but find a wealth of information. So there are testimonials from previous grads. We have the programs, that's actually where you can make your application, but also learn about each of those application categories. Connect is where we will be located, the various universities and affiliations that will be joining this autumn. And then we also have a FAQ tab as well. So frequently asked questions that have arisen up to this point, just as we interact with grads, that we're happy to pass along that information to you. So it appears that is the last of our information here. I believe we'll be opening it for Q&A, but I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Yeah, that's great, Leah. Thanks so much for that. That was really, thorough insights into the program, everything involved. We took some of the questions I had for you, but we answered them within the presentation, which is always a good sign. But we've had loads of questions, come in from people, so I'm going to throw as many to you as I can. There's been a couple of questions on specific, maybe roles within it. So people have been asking about, anything, if I have a degree in, maybe maths, or, I really want to get into cybersecurity. If those roles, and specifically available through the graduate program, are there any skill sets that maybe people might have, in those degree backgrounds, in IT, cybersecurity, maths, that can be applied to maybe some of the roles that are open at the moment?
Yes, absolutely. Great question. So maybe if I take a step back and I talk about what we're looking for, because I did mention, or I heard you mention a few of the specific degrees. And so as far as what we are looking for, we're really looking for candidates that have completed their degree, so undergraduate or master's, ahead of the program launch date of September 2022. So no specifications there, really looking for a very diverse background. If we look at our current grads, there's great representation from just about every discipline that you could possibly think of. So once you get into the for applications, you will have drop downs there where you can select a more specific category. But ultimately, we're not necessarily looking for a wealth of experience specifically in one of those drop downs. We're really looking for a great match with our values and our institution, but also looking for just great talent and thinking that we can teach them the skills and abilities for the future within this program.
Yeah, perfect. Can't really add anything to that or follow up on it. Really good question here about, maybe someone who wants to build up experience before they apply. So maybe they're in, second or third year in college. What practical things can they be doing now, to help them get experience that will maybe help them in the graduate program in a couple of years' time when they look to apply?
Yes, absolutely. So as I mentioned, a specific experience isn't required. It's nice to have. But, given the remaining time in institution, a year or 2 years, my recommendation would be to get involved outside of the classroom so that you can build up that CV. So any kind of affiliations, any kind of groups that you are involved with, really build that networking and be able to speak to it, not only in your CV, but then in your application process.
Brilliant. And, regarding someone's actually, I think it's a really, really interesting question, which is they have maybe say a background in IT or their degree is in IT, but they want to maybe apply for one of the finance streams or vice versa. Is there any advantage in that sense? And that maybe you have, so we'll say, for example, your degree is in finance, but you want to apply for the IT position. Does that give you any benefit of applying, or is it solely focused on maybe your IT skills?
Yes. So I think that that's one of the many blessings of our program is that there is incredible flexibility. So I've probably spoken with 10 grads just this week in fairs that have asked us that same question. And it really is your area of interest and where you see your career going. So even though your area of study was, as you mentioned, maybe in IT or in a different sector, you can apply to any one of our applications. And as long as you meet the minimum requirements, which we discussed before.
Excellent. And then someone said here about, so obviously, look, there's a lot involved in the graduate program itself and the specific things you look for, as you've talked about, which some people said here, it might be hard to fit that onto my CV in 1 page or 2 pages or anything like that. Is there, in terms of CV length, is there any, from an employer perspective, if you're looking at them come in, how long is too long? Maybe how long is too short? What's the balance there? And then just maybe following on from that, what are real key things you want to see on a graduate CV that, yes, they need to have maybe these 2 or 3 things?
Yes. So as far as CVs go, I wouldn't say that we have anything that's perfectly prescribed that we're looking for. Obviously, if we're reading into 4, 5, 6, 7 pages, we have many applications, and I'm sure that and we want to give everybody that time and attention, right? But I think, whatever you can do, 1 page is fantastic. 2 is also okay. Again, if you have great content that you want to join in there. But again, it's more so our applicants will be quite accomplished. And how can we get to know you, personal interests, hobbies, and the things, if you take a step back and you think, what do I really want them to know about me? How can I best describe me? And how can, Bank of Ireland walk away with a good understanding of what I bring to the table? Those are the things that I would definitely include.
Excellent. Again, look, really good practical advice that people can implement, right away on the CVs. And I know you did go through, in really good detail, tips on applications and what you look for and everything else. But maybe if there were 3 things you think to take away from your talk that, in terms of practical advice for the application process, someone's watching this and to decide, what, I was looking around graduate programs, I really want to apply for the Bank of Ireland one, I'm going to do it, right now. What are the 3 practical tips you would give to help them stand out in terms of the application process?
Yes, I would say tip number 1 is a little bit about what we were mentioning earlier, but the program is quite broad and it really is developmental in nature. And so going into it thinking I am going to study marketing, and I will come out with this job. Because of the developmental nature, you know, the rotations are kind of created as you progress through the program. And it really is, my recommendation would be to be very open going into it, because the program is really designed to support you in growing with it and then deciding what is best for you at the end of it. The next, I think, would be just to not be intimidated. So sometimes video interview can be very intimidating, and being recorded, and you can maybe get in your mind just a little bit more than you would like, and really hold you back from us getting your true self. And so, you know, not to overthink it, I guess, would be my advice for the video interview. And then also with the assessment center, should you make it that far as well.
Okay, excellent. And then someone actually, really good question here about maybe being an introvert and struggling to maybe showcase their personality. Like, so they might say, look, I think I have all the skills and I have the degree requirement, the company fits with my values, but I don't come across maybe well in the interview side, but I will, you know, maybe in assessment centers or things like that. What advice would you have for someone who's maybe an introvert and might be fearful of the video element of it, but like I said, they really want the position and they feel like they've got all the skills that match?
Yes, that's a great question. I myself am also finding myself being very reflective. And so, you know, I do like to be prepared. And my advice would probably be to, in those stages that I feel like I might struggle, maybe take some time and think through, once again, what are the things that I really want to accomplish during that time. The other thing that I would say would be that our process, so those 5 steps, are really designed to, you know, number 1 is just the application. Number 2 is the assessment. And so there is no human interaction there. It really is, you know, cast a wide net as far as what the experience is, so that all of our candidates can shine in their one area where they might excel, but others where they struggle. So we take all of those things into consideration when arriving at offer point.
Yeah, like there's more than one opportunity to stand out. I mean, that's why the application process is the way it is I suppose that it gives, you know, introverts, extroverts, people of different kind of personality types, their chance to stand out rather than maybe funneling it into one type. Really, well, good question here, really topical one at the moment. And I know you did touch on this layer, which is about, you know, the maybe hybrid working elements of the program and what's on location and what's maybe done virtually. Can you just talk a little bit again about, people are interested to know on the graduate program, how much of it is done, you know, say if you are successful, how much of it is done virtually, how much is done at home, how many times a week are you in the office?
Yes, absolutely. And that's a great question. I think that that's changed so much over the last year or two, and obviously highly important. I want to know where I'm going to work if I am pursuing a program. I would say that this varies just a bit depending on which program stream candidates end up in. And so, you know, actuarial might look very different than business and commercial, because an HR program or a marketing program might be in a different location than, let's just say, actuarial. The other is that, you know, we do have specific UK streams. And so those may be, I guess, home office or located out of London or Bristol or Belfast. And so I guess the general answer would be that it does look a little bit different according to stream. But across the bank right now, we are all working this hybrid model. And so we are, as right now I'm working from home, you know, the pandemic has really afforded us this flexible ways of working, and it's working quite well. And we love being able to pass along that flexibility to our team.
Yeah, it's great, you know, that there is clarity around that as well, which I think is what graduates want to. They want to know where they're going to be working when they apply and if they're successful. And it's great that you're able to give people that, you know, the clear answer of what actually, you know, where and when they'll be working. So that, I think, is basically all of the questions, and you've answered everything really, really well. Thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it. Hopefully that will lead to more people applying for the program in the coming days. Remember that you can find the program obviously on the Bank of Ireland Careers website. It's on the new Grad Ireland platform as well. So, you know, do give it a Google and give it a search if you're interested in it. And as with all the other sessions, you know, you'll be able to watch it on demand right here if you joined halfway through, or you just want to, you know, go through it again and take some notes. Our next session will be at 1:15. That's going to be with myself and Angela Ferguson, who's an early careers manager at Deloitte, and she'll be speaking about the Deloitte graduate program and giving you practical advice on that. So thank you once again, Leah. Enjoy the rest of your day, and same to everyone watching. So goodbye.